Right, I think we're live. Let me just get off my Wi-Fi and see if I'm live. So, guys, if you're here and you can hear me, it's Tom from Fast Track FBA. I'm getting good at this. Woohoo! And I'm back from Miami. So let me know if you're here. If someone's commenting, here we go. Someone's commenting. So let's just do the highs. So if you're here, drop a comment down below. I just want to make sure we are actually live. So let me check. Tom is going to check on YouTube. Are we live here? Fast Track FBA. Bomb bomb. Well, I think we're live. Turn the volume down. We're live. Look, we're hey. Drop your comments down below. I'm going to help you out. Saying that's fine. So, and then someone as well. Let's see if we're live on the Facebook group. So let me know there. My God, Thomas feeling tired today. Maybe it's all the trips to Miami last week. Although I've already booked my next trip back to, where am I going? The UK. Flying first class. It's actually cheaper on points to fly first than it is to fly business. I share that with you now. I will probably release something about that. So I think we're live. Yeah, we're live. Woohoo! Cool. So you can see me. Drop your comments down below. I'm here helping you out with your Amazon business. So obviously, if you have any questions, problems, please let them drop them down below, and I will help you out. So someone from Pakistan, I think it is. Hi, I'm asking if I'm eligible for a job. I was recommended in a link you provided, which stated only people in the Philippines are being hired since I'm from Pakistan. Yeah, really good question. Probably not so much like Amazon seller related, but I will answer it. Just to be clear, right now we only hire from the Philippines. It's not to say that we have anything against other people, but right now we only hire from the Philippines because we really understand how to get the best out of Filipino employees, and what we want is the best for our clients. So therefore, right now, we're only hiring from the Philippines. In the future, that may change. Right now, there's no plans to, but we do select on that, should we say, because we understand the culture, the language, and we know how to train and do it really well. So we only accept people from the Philippines right now, but it may change in the future. So I just say that. So how can we know the exact? Okay, so how can we know the exact number of sellers? So which tool extension is more reliable? SaaS. So if anyone's looking at the video going to be released, I think this week. Don't quote me. Which is basically the number of how we do analysis, and the one thing we really look at is I only really look at the keeper chart for number of sellers. Even now, like when we use Seller Amp, it has the should we say sellers on the listing, which is great. It has the stock on the listing, but what you notice is that a lot of the time, like it will kind of show the first 10. Well, I want to see all of the stock, so I'm automatically going to the keeper offers data tab, looking at all the competing offers. So because of that, I don't even bother looking at the offers on Seller Amp right now. I just look at keeper, and because we're going there anyway, so like I'm now having to do 2 checks when I could have just done 1. It makes my life a bit easier. So we always use keeper. I really like it, and then also it tallies automatically up the total stock on the listing. You click Prime, total stock on the listing, and I'm always looking at that. That's one of the key metrics I look at. So I always do that as well. So I hope that makes sense. Guys, drop your questions down below. I will answer them. I'll give you a bit of an update on Miami as well. Let me just have a sip of coffee. I probably need some. My God, Mexico City is getting really dry. Man needs some lip balm. Amazon seller does lip balm live on call, living the high life, living the dream. Right, which software should we consider the best profit calculator? It's really up to you. Like SaaS is a really good one. I know Al, I met him in Miami, really got a lot of time, so I hope that makes sense. And he said, I apologize for too many questions. No, not a problem. Honestly, I'm quite good at answering lots of questions. That is my job. I will say it right now, one of the realizations I've had in my own business, my own business, my own life, is the fact that as business owners, the only thing we cannot delegate is decision making. That is where we make decisions about the strategy of the business. And what do we need? We need A, data, and then to make informed decisions, and then B, we make decisions. Pretty much everything else can be delegated, with the exception things like culture and stuff. But decision making, and you need good data, and you need decisions. That's pretty much it. That's hard though, and if you get it right, the business does really well. If you get it wrong, it makes it bad. The business does really bad. So that's something that I've definitely learned. So when we talk about things like sourcing, administration, purchasing, a lot of that is outsourced. I'm really happy right now. My purchasing manager is buying the products. She's now, we're in the final month of her process, and she now does anything under $100 she'll buy without me reviewing. And actually she's now $200. Anything under $200 she'll now buy without me reviewing. Soon it will go to $300 and then $500, and then that'll be her sign off. And then obviously down the line we'll increase that depending on how it's going. But anything over $500 per and I mean this is not per order, per SKU, then I will be like, I want to check that. So that's the kind of thing that we look at. So it makes sense. But I'll also just jump onto some feedback, lots of feedback, some learnings I had on the Miami Sellers Conference. Let me just kind of load up my notes because I want to share these with you. So if you guys have got questions, drop them down below. But I'll just do like, if I put it in here, Miami Sellers Conference feedback. So, or learnings, should we say? I'm just going to put it in there. So, Miami Sellers Conference feedback. So, a couple of things which I'll mention, which I think are really important. Amazon Lit talked really well. So, Amazon Lit mentioned look at your removal order fees. For example, if you're removing sneakers from the US right now, it's about $15, which is insane to just remove them. And what they did say was that actually you'll probably find that once you factor in the removal, the prep center to, should we say, prep them back in, send them back into Amazon or do whatever, it probably works out cheaper just to destroy them. So Amazon really has increased that removal order fee up to basically liquidation fee. Really interesting. Repricer. Oh God, it's getting windy here. Repricer. If you're at max price, check it every single day, week, whatever, doesn't matter, because there might be more opportunity to make the max slightly higher to get more profit. I certainly found that yesterday. We were selling something for $40. I was like, I'll go to 46. So I tried that as well. Amazon discounts, certainly looking at that. Amazon account health, respond within 72 hours if you like. That's something really, really important. And the reason why I say respond in 72 hours, even if you just reply, hi, we will get back to you, it just shows you like the internal metrics that you are quick at responding, which I think is really important. So top suppliers, one question that got asked is, what are you doing to double down on your top suppliers? I think that's a really important part. So for me, looking at the top suppliers, like, can we call? Can we try and get wholesale accounts with them? Can we get discount codes? Like, there are top suppliers. What more can we do? That's really important. And then also watch voice of the customer, which is really, really important. So I love that. So that's from Amazon Lit. Let me know if you want me to share any more as we go through. So drop your questions down below and I'll answer them. So someone said, I'm in the learning phase, so much curious. Amazon learn from different places. I also have Coach Ahmed, 7-figure seller from the UK. I'm going to take a screenshot of that because Ahmed is going to love it. He's going to be like, wow, yeah. So I know Ahmed. I'm actually going to go meet him. When I fly back to London on Monday, I'm going to go meet him. So definitely looking forward to that. So I will send him that picture and be like, Coach Ahmed is absolutely loving it. So honestly, well done. But I think for you guys, like some of the big takeaways, like from Miami when I went to, I'm just sending this picture to him right now. So one of the big takeaways is like I learned from it, or should we say repeated, was the focus on getting a mentor. And I'm not like trying to sit here to tell you to get a mentor, but the conversation which they had in Miami and which I saw with everyone was like, by getting a mentor, you're going to shortcut the journey. Now, for me, what did I do? I looked at my entire life. I looked at what are the key areas that I want to grow in. So one of them is obviously Amazon. Number two is Fast Track FBA. And specifically, I want to learn about marketing and sales. So that's something that I'm focusing on right now. Within my personal life, the gym, I'm trying to exercise and eat better. Number three is I'm trying to get better at my salsa, which is really important. And number four, my mindset. So five. So 5 key areas that I'm trying to improve within my business. And I thought, why don't I get a mentor for each one of them? Because in that way, every day I'm spending working on it, it's just going to change the game. So Amazon, you can get a mentor, and that's about like working with people who are going to help you out. Sales and marketing, I'm looking at some channels of how I can find people who are going to help me with sales and marketing. My salsa, I've actually spoken to a private tutor. We're going to do 2 hours or 2 sessions twice a week, which is like great. I get to practice salsa. I love that privately. And then my diet, you know, like this is about getting a gym, someone in the gym to help coach you. And then finally, like my mindset, I have a Tony Robbins coach already, and I think that's really important. So really trying to focus on that. And she say, just think about the key areas in your life and how you can get around people or get coaches or mentors to support you in that. It's just like, you're just going to get there quicker. You know, if we talk about it in the Amazon game, for example, I had a phone call today, earlier on. Someone's like, hey, Tom, we've hired a VA from you. They've done a really good job. We're thinking about how do we scale now with VAs? And I was like, okay, so this is a much bigger question. And even if I told you every single answer in 1 hour, you still wouldn't be able to get enough information because you need to know the little bits that are going to guide your trajectory as you go through that journey. So for that reason, we introduced the Seller Academy, where you get weekly calls with me for a year. You get all the frameworks and everything. And I basically had the conversation about, you want this? And he was like, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of like, should we say, things to do. And it's like, if it was as simple as a 1 hour phone call, you can go build a 7-figure business, then then everyone could do it. But not many people build 7-figure Amazon businesses in a 12-month period, should we say, a 12-month rolling 7-figure. And so therefore the problem comes is that most people just don't understand how to do it. And it's because they need, we all need constant guidance. We get shiny objects. We go over here, we want to do that. Like, what should I do? What should I do? Keep the head down. And having someone around you like a mentor is really, really important. So I'm not here to try and promote Seller Academy. I'm here to answer your questions. So guys, if you've got questions, drop them down below. Let me know what your questions are, and I'll help you out. So let me put it this way: drop your questions down below. Obviously, I was away last week because what is it? I was in Miami, wasn't I? I was in Miami Sellers Conference, so that was really good fun. So drop your questions down below, and obviously I will answer them. In the meantime, Tom's going to be sitting here sipping on coffee like an old man. Ooh, it feels really nice. It's really lovely. I just feel like a madman. I'm talking to myself. So let's go through. So guys, drop your questions down below. I will answer them. Let's go through a little bit more. 2 seconds, and then I'm just going to load up my notes. So I've got my phone here, so I'm just going to load up my notes. And I will do them as well. We've got some questions coming. Woohoo! It's not Tom talking to himself. Thank you. Isaac. Hey, Isaac. Good to hear from you. How are you getting on? Hi, Tom. Have you tried using Reveller? And what is your take on compared to SaaS? No. Oh, no, I have. My God, like 2 years ago I used it. So in the Seller Academy, I used to teach all of the different sourcing tools. There's no one better than the other. I think you've got to try them. I think you've got to figure out which works best for you. And just really what helps you achieve what you want to achieve. That's it, really. Speed of loading. I think, not now, like 3 years ago when BuyBot Pro first came out, it was slower than Seller Amp, and I don't think it is anymore. I think they've done a really good job of improving it. But like that was one of the reasons why we didn't use it to start with, and Seller Amp was faster. Like everyone moved from Chrome to Internet Explorer because, or should we say, moved from Internet Explorer to Chrome because Chrome was so much better. It was just faster. Now, ironically, Chrome's a really slow thing because of all the Chrome extensions. But they've done a good job. So I think for you, you've just got to figure out the one which works for you. And how would I do this? Let's get very specific and tactical. So maybe if you're like in between, use the trial of both of them or pay for both of them. And I would probably recommend you record yourself, or maybe even count how many deals you can analyze in a period of time using one tool and then do the same in the other tool, and you're just trying to see which one is faster, because really that's what we're trying to do. How quick can I get to the information? In my business, like they're generally all fine because we generally use just the calculator section on them and then the export section, and then most of the analysis is done on Keeper. That's it. That's the way we work. So I don't really need like the variation. I'll always do that on Keeper. I don't need, there's a lot of other stuff, like even the stock stuff we don't need anymore. So we don't use that, we just use Keeper. Hope that makes sense. Daniel. Hey, Daniel. Oh, by the way, Isaac, let me know which one you're thinking and why. Let me know down below. And obviously I'm interested to know why you're thinking Reveller. There are other ones, Ace and Zen, BuyBot Pro, FBA Multi-Tool. Why Reveller? Tell me that. So Daniel said, it's been full-time in Amazon UK for the past 12 months. Woohoo! Turnover around 500,000. Man on fire. Wow! Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, looking at opening a USA account. Wow. Okay. 1 second. Man needs coffee because Daniel, you're absolutely smashing it. Right. Obviously, you're not on the call right now, so I can't do it. So if I was in your shoes, what would I be looking at? 1, what's the long-term goal? Think 1 to 3 years out. That would be the key metric. 2, I would be thinking about, I would plan out both routes. I would actually plan out 3 scenarios. 1, I continue with Amazon UK. What would that look like? And how close would that get me to my long-term goal? 2, I start UK and USA. What would that look like? And how would that get to me my long-term goal? I'll talk a bit more about that as well. And then 3, I'll put it out there, I shut down the UK and move over to the USA. Another option, just sharing that now. So, and again, I would plan out all of them. Now, specifically, what I'm talking about in the USA is probably going to take you 3 months just to get set up there. That's the way it works. IRS do not like dealing with foreign companies, particularly rapidly. It does take a long time. So the question I'd be asking is like, where do I want to be? Now, a really good kind of frame of reference to be for you is about where am I now, and how do I feel about my current performance, and where would I need to be to feel good. So, and let's get really tactical here. So number one, you're doing 500,000 in sales, effing well done. Number two, profit margins. I think if you're doing UK with VAs doing purchasing, up to about 1 million, you might be able to get about 7%, maybe 10% if you're lucky. Cool. In the US, I think you can get 10, 12, maybe a bit higher than that, depending on how good you are. So use those numbers like, Tom, I'm smashing your figures, I'm doing 13% net profit in the UK. Well, my God, keep doing it if it works. I think the question is, where do you go? And if you're doing, I will share this from my own personal experience. The problem I think about the UK is the fact that it's so easy to copy, and VAT creates you a massive headache in regards to increased taxes and increased administration, which does not benefit the larger seller. So if what you're doing right now is really working and you think you can continue scaling it, maybe wholesale, for example, or maybe really niche down OA, and you think you want to keep doing it, fantastic. And then I think my final bit of advice, kind of overarching all of this, is if you do look to do the move, let's get some key measurables which are going to help you. One, you probably want to have a minimum of 20, if not 40 hours a week free. So therefore, you want your UK business being able to run on maximum of 20 hours a week. So that means you have a team in place who can do the majority of the work. So that's key, and still be profitable. Two, I say you need $10,000. I think you probably need $30,000. And the reason why I say $30,000 is because one of the key considerations you think about in growing a business, and everyone does this, is like you see the YouTube videos. Hey man, I started with £500 and now I made 1 million in a year later. You're like, yeah, but no one mentioned the £950,000 worth of credit you got in the middle. So that's what the thing we don't understand. So you're not going to get credit in the US for at least a year. So if you do not take a big chunk of capital over with you, you are going to really struggle. That's the thing that I'll say. So having capital is informative. Daniel, let me know your thoughts and what your thoughts are. Is it too early? Is really, do you have capital and do you have available time to develop into the business? That's it, into USA. Sebastian. Hey, Sebastian. I'm trying to scale my 6-figure business to 7 figures, and I'm trying to figure out how much external funding I need. How do you determine how much debt your business can handle and stay healthy? Generally, it's your margins. I will tell you, we were paying 55,000, I think it was 55,000 pounds a year in interest on one of our loans, which was like, oh. So a lot of capital. So generally, I would recommend going to YouTube. By the way, if you are looking to get to 6 to 7 figures and you've got VAs, do look at the Fast Track FBA Seller Academy. This is exactly what we teach you. We give you all the frameworks, we give you all the financials, and it helps you understand questions exactly like this. And obviously you get weekly calls with me, like not like this, but like proper live calls. But what I will say is, bit of guidance, go to YouTube, look at my road to 1 million in 18 months, I think it is. There's a free download you can access with it. It kind of gives you a bit of a financial planner that I created in that video. I won't lie, it's a bit old and very out of date, but it'll give you a good guidance. And then you can map that into your own kind of financials. And then you can say, how much interest can we afford? Generally speaking, I mean, like, it's how much impact it's gonna have on your margin. That's the important part. So, you know, you're doing a million at 10% is 100,000 in sales. We were doing 3.4 million. So if you're doing a million at 10%, 100,000 in sales, and you're paying, I don't know, 20,000 in interest, you're still making 80%. So now it's 2% margin impact. That's the question you're really trying to understand. Like, how much can we impact the margin to pay for this debt? Ideally, like if you want to do it in a really cool way, you want like credit cards, go down that route. Capital on tap, for example, in the UK or the USA, we've got 100,000 credit limit. Just keep pushing those credit limits, speak to suppliers, get credit increases. That's the way you do it. Sebastian, I hope that makes sense. Let me know down below if there's like something that doesn't answer, but really it's your margin impact and on the bottom line, how much it's going to cost you. And you should have your P&Ls. And by the way, I want to be crystal clear here. This isn't like Inventory Labs SDK. This is full zero P&Ls, proper profit and loss, and go, how much am I actually making with stock takes? Again, we teach it in Seller Academy. And then once you know that cash value figure, then you know how much interest you can service to manage it. And really you're looking to make sure you service it and still make profit. Hope that makes sense. Isaac, the thing with Keeper now is you can't use it with multiple users. That way that they're using Reveller as an alternative solution. By the way, I learned a lot from your Keeper analysis videos. Woohoo! I need to record some more, so hope you like that. So let's just be really crystal clear. Multiple users, Reveller. Yeah, we keep cancelling the accounts and creating new ones. That kind of gets around it for like a month or two. So we still have 4 or 5 people per account. That works. And obviously me as an owner, I use it at different times of day. So that's kind of the hack that we've used. It has worked, but I do understand what you're saying. So yeah, I just don't think you can beat Keeper. I think it's even worth it if you're going to pay for it. It's just really annoying they've locked it down. So create multiple accounts. That's it. Right, Las Venus. Are there any issues with seller accounts closure if I open an Amazon seller account under a completely new company based in USA? So if you've had an Amazon selling account which has been shut down by Amazon, i.e. for violation, and then you try and open a new one, that's going to be a problem. And the reason why that will be a problem is for the simple fact that you as an owner of the company have had bad dealings with Amazon. I think that makes sense. But if you shut if you shut a business down, shut the account down, there was no violations on it, then I think you'd be fine. I don't think there'd be a problem. But if you've had because otherwise what people would do is they would open up an account, burn it, make loads of red failures, cause loads of IP complaints, whatever, shut it down, start a new one, and that would really badly affect Amazon, so they don't do it. So hope that makes sense. But so yeah, there would be a problem on that. And I'm assuming a seller account in the UK is a different company. Okay, so to be crystal clear, let's talk about me, because obviously I can put it in my context. It's quite easy. So I have I think 3 Amazon selling accounts. I think 3, maybe 4 now. I don't know. I know I should really know this, but it doesn't really matter, and I'll explain why. So I have a Thomas Parkinson selling account. We don't trade on it. We don't do anything. We actually connect it to our lead service, and my leads users use that for ungating or to check gated and hazmat status. Then we have my Amazon UK business, or my Amazon UK business, which with that business has an Amazon selling account, which is eligible to sell in the US, but we've only sold in the UK and the EU for it, so that's fine. Then we have my Amazon USA business, which has an Amazon selling account, which only sells in the US, and so that works. Now, and then I have another one, which I think is for Fast Track FBA, because we have a software developer key, so you have to create a seller account for that as well. And I might have another one as well, because we have 2 Fast Track FBA companies, one UK and one US. So that's why I kind of say I'm not really too sure. But at a fundamental level, you're allowed as many accounts as you like, but generally speaking, there has to be a reason. Like if they don't sell, it doesn't really matter, which is what I'm doing. But if they sell on the same, if they are selling, then there needs to be a business reason why you have multiple accounts per region. And let's define a region. Europe is a region, North America or Americas is another region, should we say, so Canada, Mexico. Now I can have one account on Europe and another account on North America, that's fine. But if I take the USA business and I'm selling on North America with my North American account, that's going to potentially be a problem, because now I have 2 accounts selling on the same region, and potentially I might be selling the same products and competing against myself in price fixing. So that causes problems. But so that's generally like, you should not do that. But if you have a legitimate business need, you can have multiple accounts on the same marketplace in the same region. For example, if I owned Cadbury's, I might have an account for Cadbury's. And if I own Pepsi Cola, I might have another account for Pepsi Cola. So because therefore they are different business entities and they sell different products, that's absolutely fine. Cadbury's will never sell Pepsi and Pepsi will never sell Cadbury's, so therefore having separate accounts works. So Amazon says that's fine, but that's the kind of way it works. So Las Venus, let me know if that answers your questions. Guys, drop your questions down below. Obviously, I will answer them and let you know. I'm just having more coffee. It's been a long day today. It's only like 12:30. My God, I've got about 15 minutes left, so do drop your questions. I'll give you some update on Miami Sellers Conference after I've just inhaled some more coffee. It's definitely coffee. And if you want to know, it's just black. I can't do it. There you go, black coffee. You can see that. Black coffee, no milk, no sugar. As they say, like my soul. It's like, ah. Right. So Miami Sellers Conference, talked about Amazon Lit. That was really good. Dave, bookseller, mind blown. This guy does 12 million a year. That's a million a month, by the way, in used book sales. And do you know what he did? What was really funny is he basically, so he has people who scan books, beep, 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 put them on the conveyor, like good book, bad book, whatever. And what he did was he basically just measured his book scanners for 20 minutes, and then he multiplied it by 3 to get an hour, and then he said, let's take that out to 8 hours and assume that they're only going to do 80%. What is the number? And he didn't ask them to go as fast as they could. They said, what could they do? And when he looked at it, and then he looked at what the actual numbers were for scanning, he was like, this is like really, really bad. So what was very interesting was that his actual numbers are way lower than what he should have been. So what he did is he basically just put this actual number on a TV screen in the cafeteria, and every day everyone knew their number. And what was really funny is they just kept having conversations about it. Over the course of a couple of months, he managed to increase his productivity by 143%, which basically gave him an additional $1.43 million in revenue with no extra staff. And I was like, and what was really interesting is the fact that if you could look at the same analogy for sources, for example, you could say, like, how many ASINs are you looking at? What are you doing? What's your theoretical maximum? Or where should you be? And what are you at? And then you're just constantly showing the numbers. You're not saying you're not working hard enough. What you are saying is, like, this is the results you're getting. What's going on? What's going on? So that's really interesting. So I was like, wow, we could do something like that. So what's your sense? Thomas, I think it is. Hey, Thomas. Hey Tom, regarding Amazon Lit, on interview, he said they scanned lists and looked for $3 profit per product. Does that mean he's got a good price without negotiating? I don't know the exact thing. So, okay, look, let's just be really crystal clear here. Whenever you're watching these interviews with people, you've got to understand something behind the scenes. You've got to understand if they have their own warehouse or if they're using a prep center. If they're using a prep center, they are probably looking for products. When they talk about profit per product, they've probably already factored in the price of the prep center to the product, because it's generally on a per unit basis. But when you're talking about people who own a warehouse, they generally don't factor in the warehouse because the warehouse is a fixed cost. So what they're doing is just looking for a minimum profit per item. And generally what you will see across the board, not always, but across the board, is those people who own warehouses will generally do lower value items but higher volumes. Because if they just increase volume, their costs don't go up. Whereas in a prep center, if you increase volume, your prep cost goes up, as a customer. So when you talk about like Amazon Lit, they obviously own their warehouse. It's absolutely huge. I've got to go down and see it one day. But when they're looking for their $3 per profit, they're probably looking for $3 per profit with no other fees on. Now, I don't know this for a fact, I'm just guessing, but that's probably what they're looking at. So for like the likes of you and me, that could be anything like $1.50 profit. So it's not as much as like, you'd be like wanting to make once we include prep fees, but for them it could be. Now I think this, I'm not saying it's definitely true, but I do know some very, very big wholesalers in the UK, not wholesalers, very, very big sellers in the UK who use the same model. They're like, I make £1 profit per item, but I do 200 of this one SKU per day, and I multiply that by everything, and it's like my supply is just brilliant. So their profit per item is tiny, but they do volume, and I think Amazon Lit do a lot of grocery, so therefore it works. So, and then on top of that, because they can increase the volume, they're now buying more, and now they can negotiate on top. So I think you're right. So a top tip that I've kind of learned, from what you're saying, and also from some other sellers, is whenever you get a price list, we kind of do this now as well. We do you're looking at really like how much profit am I going to make, but we don't actually do much profit. We do estimated sales multiplied by the buy cost. And we generally say if it's below $400, we're not even going to review the deal. But if it's over $400, then we will say, and this is for wholesale, by the way, then we will say, hey, let's go and review the deal. And if it's a really big buy cost, that's very good opportunity to negotiate deals. So when you're talking about like a $3 profit, cool, but you're not so much looking at the profitability, you're really looking at the buy cost. Because if you go up to a supplier and say, hey, I want to spend $2,000 on this product, they'll be like, cool. But if you walk up to the supplier and say, I want to spend $200,000 on this product, they'll be like, ooh, yes, please, we can do a discount on that much money. So that's what you're really trying to look at. And it's really cash value spent, which is the key metric, which will help you understand whether you can negotiate. And of course, on what they're doing, they are negotiating. So Thomas, let me know down below if that answers your question. Tom needs more coffee. Guys, if you've got questions, drop them down below. Tom will answer them. I'm talking about me in the third person. I'm like crazy today. Right, let's go through. So we're going to do I'll do some more updates on Miami Sellers Conference. Tom's got his phone here. I've got lots of notes. That's why I'm looking at my phone. So the bookseller one was super interesting. Find It, Flip It. Great girl. Have a conversation with her. She is smashing it on social media right now. But what I will say is about ungating and probably even like declaration. What do you call it? Ungating and something else. So when we talk about ungating, your address details need to match perfectly. I mean, literally like the same order, same rows, everything. Get everything perfect on that. Legal information, and also name the documentation ASIN_brand_invoice. I really like that. And then she mentioned something about if you get auto denied, it's like you've tried too many times. You can literally go to like underneath the case, there's a little case number. You can click on that and then submit a case and say, I need more help, and attach images and the invoice and ask for them to, she say, review the invoice. So sometimes it's like automatic, which is like, oh my God, I hate that on gating. So that's really good. Arbitrage card, check them out. You get discounts on coupon codes or discounts on cards. Kohl's shoes. If it ends in a 9.7, it's going to be a sale or a clearance item. Now, interesting enough, if you're buying sneakers from Kohl's and it's a sale or a clearance, you're probably not going to get the box, or the box might be like damaged or had the top ripped off. Very interesting, but you can buy boxes. Just be mindful of that. So that might be a really good one. Another one everyone talked about, we've actually done it, but I haven't checked the results yet. Corey Gannon PPC, I think if you go to his website, his YouTube channel, go to sort by his videos by popular, and I think it's like the 8th one, don't quote me. It took me 4 minutes to do, and that includes 3 minutes watching it and 1 minute actually actioning it. So it was so quick. So that was really interesting. Social chats. So I was kind of like talking to lots of people, like what they're doing, speaking to different suppliers. One of the key questions is like, what are you doing right now to double down? So I talked about it earlier on today in the live. I said, getting a mentor to help you out, but also focusing on doubling down on suppliers which are working. So that was really, really important. We've got a question come in from Fori. Hey, Fori. I have a brand that is not trademarked. I have created a listing, but I was asked to apply for brand approval. I uploaded the image of my brand box, but when I submit and get an error saying page unavailable. I have a brand. I think you copied it again. I'm not 100% sure. Have you raised a case with Amazon and like say what's going on? Maybe try it with an incognito mode first, and then raise a case with Amazon. That would probably be the only thing that I can suggest. I'm not good at brands. We don't create brand listings. And to create listings or trademarks behind that. I think if you are going to go down the brand route, I would probably recommend doing the trademark, because that's the idea that you want to kind of own the IP on it, that other people can't do it because it's your brand. So Fori, I hope that makes Fori. Let me know if that answers your question. Yeah, let me know down below. What have I got down here? Soros talked about it. Get a mentor, like action this, and that's why I talked about get mentors for the 5 things that I do. I was looking at Amazon, sales and marketing, what's the other one? The gym, salsa dancing, and mindset. Like, just get those people to go ahead. So that was really, really good. Soros talked a lot about vision behind the team. Like, we did it with our team. So, like, we did it the other day. I got my AOP, so our financial plan for the year, and I said, hey, guys, can you have a look at, like, line number 24 or something? And they're like, yeah, what does that say? And they're like, oh, it says staff bonuses. And I was like, okay, cool. Can you go across to, like, Christmas? What does that say? And they're like, wow. And I was like, how much number is that? I was like, can you convert that into Filipino pesos? They're like, wow. And I was like, cool. And then divide it by the number in the team. Wow. I was like, that's how much money I think you're going to get paid in a bonus in Christmas. So like, whoa. And so we kind of like, number one, I wanted them to see it. But then number two, it was about us getting them to start living it. So we were like, cool, now I want you to just close your eyes, think about, like, imagine that paycheck coming in, opening a bank account, seeing that money in your bank account, cool. And I was like, right, what are you going to buy with it? Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to get a dual screen monitor? Are you going to travel away? Are you going to do these, up bits and bobs? And I think, that was so important to get them into the mindset of like, hey, what are you going to do with this? And it's like, okay, like, let's think about that. Let's be there. Now we've got to do the actions. But I just want them to live for a moment of like, we're going to do this. It's going to happen. So that was really, really good. And I love Saros talked a lot about that. So that was really, really good. By the way, the guy paid nearly $300,000 in salaries last year. I was like, wow. Fori says, yes, Amazon were not helpful. What? Amazon were not helpful? Never. Who's? I thought Amazon are the most helpful people I've ever met in my life. This is sarcasm, by the way, people. Sorry. No, don't get me wrong. I appreciate it's a very big company. There's a lot going on, and they try and reduce down cost as much as possible. But still, when you have a problem, it doesn't get solved. So keep trying, keep trying. I promise you that. As Tony Robbins says it, it's not the lack of resources, it's the lack of resourcefulness. Figure out a way. I always kind of do the, if someone put a gun to my head, what would I do? How would I deal with it? Try and think about that. That's going to help you out. Daniel said, appreciate the time. Thumbs up. Love it. Hiring a couple of VAs to support getting to the next goal on 1 million rolling 12 months. Love it. Also a director of prep center. Wow. So my time is becoming more valuable. Daniel, let me know if you're hiring through us. Honestly, absolutely love it. Obviously, if you haven't or you are, whatever, let me know. Obviously, we're really good at what we do, supporting you in your business, and you get access to all our resources, which is just going to help speed up and get you like the best way to manage, support, develop, and train your VAs. When I was in Miami Sellers Conference, what was really interesting, I'd met so many people who had hired from us. They were like, I just want to say your VAs like changed my life. I was like, wow, thank you. I was like, you've also changed the life of a VA. I think what was really interesting is one of the people I met, they were like, our VA, her sister, she said got cancer, which was like really, really bad, like obviously real shame. And it's so sad to hear, but like they were like they're so happy because not only the sister's got the job now, can support and help her out, but also the owners, should we say the business owners, they donated money as well. So I thought that was a lovely thing to do, and just to support their staff in the Philippines. And it's like, and I said like the work we do changes lives, not just ours, but also the people around us. And I find as business owners and leaders in the world, that's such a powerful thing. So important. But Daniel, absolutely glad. Let me know if you're using us or what the situation is. And obviously you can book a call, fasttrackfba.com/VA. And obviously if you book a call, generally at the moment I'm taking the call. So if you want to do that, you can have a chat and obviously we can see what's going on. So I've got 5 minutes, guys. Let me know questions down below. 5 more minutes, and obviously I'll answer your questions. And then I will do some more stuff, or more Miami stuff in a second. Need more coffee. I'm just really tired today. Very tired. Tom needs big coffee. Oh, right. What was really okay for those people who live outside of America. I live in the UK, and what I found really funny was the fact that you can buy a house in America for $7,500. I was like, that's insane. How can you buy a house so cheap? And FBA Michaela, who's probably FBA house flipping now, or house flipping Michaela, she was talking about that presentation, which I thought that was crazy. Z has asked a great question. This is a good question. Z, I'm going to answer your question. How to replace a 45k job? Okay, let's just talk gross numbers. Very simple. I'm going to get my calculator out because Tom can actually do some math. So let's say, for example, you're doing 45k. Now, 45k is your gross income per year. So let's divide it down to monthly. That's going to be easy. So divided by 12 is about 3.75 per month. Now you're looking at 3.75 per month that you want to make. So 3.57 per month is what you want to make. So if we're working on, let's assume we're in the US and you're doing a 10% profit margin. So we're just going to make it so that your business right now is going to literally just make enough money to cover you on the 3.75 per month, as it will pay all its profits to you. We're not going to talk about personal taxation because that's a different game, but we're just talking about the business making enough money to pay you $3,750. How you get paid can be very tax efficient or inefficient. So at 3.75 per month, we want to basically divide it by 0.1, which is 10% margin. So you need to be doing, should we say, at least 37.5 per month in sales. So call it 40,000 in sales per month to make 4,000 net profit. Now, if you're doing about 40,000 in sales, and if you generally buy your products for $10 and sell them for $20, you're going to be doing, should we say, $20 of purchasing to make your $40 worth of, should we say, revenue. And generally, we find it takes about 3 months to buy and sell the stock and get your money back. So if we define why, it takes about 2 weeks to buy the stock and get it into Amazon. It takes about 2 months in Amazon to get it sold, and it takes 2 weeks for Amazon to actually give you the money back. I know, they like to sit on it. So 3 months is a good metric. So if you think about it, you need to spend $20,000 a month per product. For 3 months, that's $60,000. So if you had $60,000 of cash and capital or credit, then you'd be able to generate $40,000 per month in sales. And then you would be able to generate a 10% net margin, your $4,000 profit per month, which would give you roughly your $45,000 income per year. Now, you probably want to go higher than this, because if you're always taking out your profit every month, your business will never grow, and that's not a good thing. So I'd probably recommend you probably want to be doing something like, let's call it 50, 60K as a minimum, so you're earning more money, and then your business is actually growing, not just staying flat because you take all the cash out. So if you're thinking about that, let's call it 60K. So 60K is going to be 30K cost of goods. 30K cost of goods is going to be 90,000 that you need to have available in cash. Sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but as you get going, you'll start seeing that cash comes freely available. You get a lot more. And also you can reinvest profits as well. So I hope that makes sense. Tobias. Z, let me know if that answers your question down below. I'll do this as my last question, then I'll finish up. So, thanks for your answer. Do you think he is looking for products for $3 profit, then negotiating to make even more profit? I'm in the UK doing the same as you said, more volume, not high profit per unit. Yeah, like, I think, yeah, he's not like, if you think about the logic flow of analyzing products, and obviously he's a wholesale, you would not go in to start off with negotiating to start with. You would take a big list, filter it down to those products that are interesting and slightly profitable for you, but not brilliant. And then, $3 profit per item, for example. And then of those items that are $3 per profit, once you multiply the cost of goods by the estimated sales per month is now going to give you a spend. And then of those products, I would look for the top maybe 2 to 3 products. Where you're like, these are the ones that are really selling. We want to go and negotiate these prices, or like, here's the price we want to get it to. And now it might, with that big spend and the idea that what profit you can look, you might now go from 3 to, let's call it $5 profit if you're lucky, maybe $4, I don't know. But like, that's the kind of thing you're looking at. So I hope that makes sense. Z said, very good, thank you. Thomas, let me know if that helps you out. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 1:45. I'm going to finish for the day. I will be back next week to help you guys out. So please, obviously, join at the same time next week, and obviously I'll answer your questions. But I just want to say thank you very much for all of you guys, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Stay safe. Bye. Oh, hit the thumbs up.